A lot of people don't go fishing to fish per se, but rather to enjoy the nature around it and appreciate the scenery and the weather. There's an old saying, my worst day fishing is better than my best day at work. Also, Jeff Foxworthy said, if you ever have been too drunk to fish, you might be a redneck, to quote my grandmother, who caught a state record-breaking sturgeon in Ohio and was an accomplished fisherman, marksman, hunter and outdoorsman. Beats the hell out of doing dishes. Depends on the type of fishing. Lake fishing in a boat is pretty mellow. Fly fishing in a river takes more skill and finesse. Sport fishing for something like marlin can be a crazy rush, fighting with a 100-pound fish for 20 minutes. All of those though involve nature, so that's always nice. It is one activity that humans have been doing for millennia. Pretty good perspective ritual. Also, quieting/turning off your mind is beneficial. For me, fishing has always been very relaxing. I've been at it now 67 years. And never get tired of it. I've never owned a boat, always bank fished, and I enjoy that. Even now, when I get a hit, the excitement level goes right up. Love catching those fish. I fish alone. I don't drink, and I always catch and release. I stopped cleaning them 30 years ago. 1. Despite fish being dumb, they still are good at some things, like staying alive. Thus, fishing takes both patience and skill. 2. It's exciting to catch something and a satisfying feeling. 3. When you win, you have dinner. Fresh fish tastes amazing. 4. Even if you catch nothing, I have lots of experience with this. You're still out on a lake in a beautiful location, chilling with your friends. Also can incorporate booze or drugs. Remember, millions of people enjoy hiking, which is just the same shit without the fishing part. Fishing relaxes me. It's like yoga, but I still get to kill something. Ron Swanson. I used to hate fishing. Then I got the chance to go salmon fishing. Fucking awesome. Caught a shit ton of fish. Ate a shit ton of fish. Spent a ton of time outside in the proper wilderness. It was sick. I wasn't a huge fan of all the grizzly bears, but it was really exciting overall. It was simple. Be outside, catch fish, clean fish, eat, sleep. Like most outdoor activities, it really distills what it is to be alive. It is nice to get away from the rat race. My husband felt the same way until I took him to a river near my favorite camping location. It's a beautiful place in the Sierra Nevada mountains in California. Very peaceful. He caught his first fish in that river and he was so excited when it happened that all he could say was "Ikaba, Ikaba." And he doesn't even speak German. The exhilaration filled him with German spirit. Lol. Do you enjoy looking at pretty landscapes and sitting? Do you enjoy eating meat? To quote Garfield, where else can you take a 3-hour nap and call it sport? Pretty much everything I liked about fishing was nothing to do with the fishing. The cherry on top was occasionally I tricked a fish onto my rod, which was quite an achievement given my lack of skill level. Why do people play video games? Seems kinda boring. I don't understand why you'd be proud you beat a game. They're designed to be beaten. I swear I thought the question was, why do people like fisting? Whoever tries to explain it won't know how to explain it because there's no explaining needed. You're either interested or you're not. I'm going to assume you haven't catched that many, or you've only caught them by casting a bobber or a bait that stays at a single spot. That's not that fun, although some people do like it. Fishing requires skill and technique, but it's also about the fight a big fish puts out. It may be boring to you, but I have many hobbies, and if there's an opportunity to fish, you bet your sweet ass I will go fishing before I sit behind a screen or stay home warming up the couch. 1. I'm out in nature. Anything that gets me there is something I will probably like. 2. It's mindless, but it's not. I have a hard time fully shutting my brain off, so having the activity involved while relaxing is nice. 3. The fish may not score high on AP exams, but they aren't out there searching for your hook either. It is satisfying when it all comes together after you use the right lures or rig, in the right spot, at the right depth, at the right time of day, set at the right time, reeled in properly, handled safely if you are releasing, etc. There is a lot to it and I love to eat fish and know where my food comes from. I like fishing because of the adrenaline rush when you hook a big one. Some fish are smarter than you think though. I can see how some find it boring, especially if none decide to bite all day. Have you ever been fishing? It might not seem like it would be enjoyable, but it is. Very much so. In fact, it's relaxing. You can drink beer, if you're into that, and just sit in nature and let your mind wander. There are a few reasons why I like fishing, mostly depending on the type of fishing. 1. I get to watch varieties of wild animals when stream fishing on a shallow river with hilly terrain. Not only fish but birds, wildcat, monkey, etc. It's a lot more effort with stream fishing since you are either walking downstream or upstream. Don't forget the views and clear water too. 2. I get to stargaze when fishing at night. Since you only go fishing on a clear day, the night sky usually full of stars, it's much less effort since you can't do a lot at night like bait casting. 3. I get to experience new places when I go bait casting fishing on lake or dense river. From what I learned, You can't bait cast too long on a single spot if you catch nothing for a period of time, so you need to walk along the riverbank or lake shore. Like every other comments, it's more to meditation than sport unless you are going to break a record or something. Even if it is sport to you, it's still clear your mind from shit like work stress, etc. This comment still can't fully put why fishing is so enjoyable to me. There is something to it that makes me excited, especially when going to a new fishing spot. As a vegetarian who would never want to go fishing myself, I honestly kind of get the appeal. It's like foraging or bird watching. You get to enjoy nature through learning to understand your environment on a deeper level than just appreciating its beauty, and you get to be, at least a little bit, self-sufficient by catching your own food. It's peaceful. The time you spend between casting the reel and catching the fish is either a quiet time for introspection and enjoying nature, or you're spending quality time with someone you love. Fishing, at least for me, isn't actually about catching the fish. It's about everything else. Pulling up a chair on a shore and looking out over the water is one of the most serene and thought-provoking hobbies I've ever taken part in. And hey, maybe you catch a big fish and get to eat and brag about it. If tricking a fish is so dang easy, go win some competitions and then come back and tell us about how easy it was. As Stephen Wright would say, there's a fine line between fishing and standing on the shore looking like an idiot. I think I got that right. They aren't very smart. Judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, and it will spend the rest of its life believing it is stupid. Your statement, somewhat ironically, makes you appear terribly uninformed. Are fish not very smart on a human scale? Sure. However, if they were not adept at staying alive, as another poster said, people wouldn't go out on the waters for hours and get skunked. It's a skill, fishing, like any other activity that takes knowledge, patience, and experience. Get your own hobby and stay away from mine. And GT, they aren't very smart, and LT, shows what you know. Every time I would go fishing on the river, they would find some smashed piece of concrete and cut the line. Bastards knew exactly what they were doing. Great quote. Many men fish their whole lives without realizing it's not fish they're after. It's a simple, relaxing communion with nature. Even when you don't catch anything, it's fun and a great excuse to have a couple beers. As my fishing buddies say, we may not always catch fish, but we always catch a buzz. I really like looking at the fish and measuring them. For me, it's more environmental than anything. I always release them but always look at them. I like to see how the river has changed each year. I catch dumb kids and put them in a van. You don't see me complaining.